I got these two great tennis players. All we need is a club. Everything to go from prodigy to pro. Raise your hand, Serena. Venus Williams. Let me see your dangerous face. That's your dangerous face. Make some dangerous noises. There you go. That's your dangerous face. That's okay. Don't do that for the people.
Hey, welcome back to Landscape Blur, where this week we are going to be recreating the landscape plan for the Williams home from the movie King Richard, which you can currently see in theaters and in HBO Max, based on the life of Richard and Serena, Venus, and the rest of the Williams family. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get to the design. I will say that there's not a lot of full scenes where you can see the home. However, I will say that this is the home that actually interests me the most in order to recreate, because one, this is really where they grew and learned a lot, at least in the movie. So it is in Campton, California. So I will be using some of those as far as shrubs for the design, in case you're wondering. So let's get to the design. So first things first, I have to do my regular math in order to get this. This sheet here that I'm using, it is a 24 by 36 inch. However, it does not have to be that big. The scale is 1 inch equals 10 feet, in case you're wondering. Generally, I like to do them big. That way, when I am working on a project, the crews can actually see what they need to do as far as measurements, and they get it as close as possible. You know, we want it to be accurate, especially when there's a lot of stuff going on. So now that I have all that there, let's get to some of the measurements that I use in order to get this. Now, one of the things that I did first was start with the house, kind of calculate how much space this house potentially has, even though I don't know exactly, just because I want to use more the references of the movie in itself. So the home seems to be about 40 feet, and then there's this driveway right next to it that goes from the actual street all the way to the back. That seems to be around 12 or so feet, enough for a car to fit, a bit more than that, because you do see them using their BW and parking there in this driveway. So I would say approximately about 12 feet or so. So the actual lot length would be more in the area of about 58 or so feet in length. There is that section between the street and also the sidewalk, which is going to be the 7 feet. The sidewalk is going to be 5, and in between the sidewalk and the house is approximately 20 or so feet. So there is those measurements right there. Now there's also this section between the house and the grass, which seems to be around 4 to 6 feet. I will say that it looks quite tight, which is why I put it at 4 feet. Generally, you want more space. This is more like the porch area. If anything, it is a raised section, and it seems to be made out of concrete in some portions, but at the same time, some portions it seems to be made out of block. So you can definitely do out of both of them. If you are going to be doing concrete, this is going to be a solid piece. If you are going to be doing out of block, first you would have to kind of create the actual block retaining wall, and then you want to kind of put something on top, be it either some type of pavers and or also put concrete in that top part in itself. Now I would say that if you are wanting to do something like this, it would be best if you give it, I would probably say 6 feet, if not a bit more, just so you have enough space to put some chairs and you are able to walk around without needing to get off it and then getting back on again. Now this wall is not very big. This section is maybe around 20 inches or so height, so it's not a lot, but it's enough. You know, if you don't want to go up and down, I would definitely suggest that you make at least more space where you can kind of walk around. There are 3 steps that lead you to the entrance of the house, and there's this covered porch area that leads you to the front of the house on one side, mostly in the middle of the house, but then this also will lead you to the driveway, where it also has another 3 steps. You also have some shrubs there next to this chain link fence, which, you know, I would assume that you want to have this just so people stays off your property, especially, you know, you don't want anybody else other than your family there, right? Or unless you have like a guest type of thing. So there is a shrubs or some shrubs there. One is going to be more of a hedge style, which is going to be the red tip Photinia that you kind of see next to the gate itself or the entrance of the fence. And then on the other side, you also have a different one. Now, this one is going to be a little hard because it's there literally for like 3 or 4 frames of the movie, which is kind of fast. So I had to stop a lot of times to really see it. It's really quick. It seems to me that looks more like a Chinese elm. However, I think that I might be wrong. So I'd like to ask for your help. If you've seen this movie and you happen to live in this area, do you know, or could you put it in the comments below, what kind of shrub this is? 1, because I like to know, and 2, anybody who watches this video could potentially use it if they live in this area, or if this shrub is appropriate for their area, wherever you may be in the US or anywhere else in the world. Keep in mind that there's different shrubs that you can use, and it's not only for the US, even though, you know, these are shrubs that I'm kind of mostly using based on this area. Yeah, I just want to see if you can help with that. That'd be great. Other than that, you do have just grass pretty much everywhere in this area. You definitely want to irrigate it to kind of keep it green. And it's going to depend where you are in the US and obviously around the world, how much water you can use and where you can use it. Also, the parts that you would need for this irrigation, if this would be more pipe based or if it's going to be more PVC based. California tends to use more PVC because of the weather itself. It never gets cold enough to really crack any of these lines, water lines, versus if you're in a higher altitude where weather could be an issue, where you would want to use more poly pipes just because it can expand. Not saying you should leave water there, especially in the winter, but this is a problem that California really doesn't have, at least where the location of the house is, which is going to be in Campton. So you're going to have less problems with that. So other than that, this is really the design that we have for this. Not super big, not super fancy, but because of what I said earlier, this is kind of the one that I wanted to focus on, because this is kind of where Richard and his wife were really raising their kids, their family. And so this to me looked more appropriate to kind of work on versus if I were to do the area where they train for tennis or any super luxurious house that we kind of see. This was the one that I wanted to focus on. What do you guys think about that though? What do you guys think about this design? Let me know in the comments, and definitely would appreciate your thumbs and your subs. Would definitely help this channel so we can get more viewers. I will be making more stuff like this, but I would also appreciate your recommendations for movies and or shows. Let me know in the comments, that way I can look into those and I can make more videos for you. Also, let me know if I should be doing something else. Lately I've been doing more of this style, but I am going to go back to do some of the ones that I've worked on directly. But for the meantime, I'm gonna leave this here. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments, and that's pretty much it for now. Don't forget the motto though, which is Dream, Design, Create, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.